Longinos, who was serving in the Roman army as a centurion, so a leader of 100, so he was no slouch. And he came from Cappadocia, so he was tough to begin with. So what did he do with his gifts? He went back to Cappadocia. Well, first of all, he got out of the Roman army. He went back to Cappadocia and he proclaimed the gospel. He proclaimed the gospel to those very stubborn, tough Cappadocians. It must have been a really hard crowd. I can only imagine what that was like, because their lives, they were living on the edge all the time anyway, right? So there was not a lot of leeway, not a lot of margin. And here comes this guy who's been serving around the then known world, spouting this outlandish story about this guy who died and was raised from the dead and was the Son of God. But we know he succeeded, because who else came from Cappadocia later? St. Basil the Great, St. John, well, not St. John Chrysostom, St. Basil the Great. We have a whole, St. Gregory the Theologian, a whole cloud of saints who came out of Cappadocia, where Longinus went to proclaim the good news. So what should we derive from this combination of readings and this element of our history? Well, first of all, we need to recognize that the gifts that we do have come from God, and that we're supposed to nurture them, grow them, and offer them back to God by serving our fellow human beings. And that we should do this whatever the context. So it could be hard. It could be very difficult. But remembering Longinus, we should stick to it. Our tendency is to take the easy path, to choose easy. I think there used to be a commercial, right, for some box store. Push the easy button. Well, that was an appealing image for us, because as human beings, we tend to want to do what's easier. But as we consider Longinus, and as we look at the icons of the saints that surround us, we have to draw the lesson that Christianity is not easy, and that we're not called to do the easy thing. We're called to do the hard thing, which is to serve God, to glorify Him, to not be embarrassed by Jesus Christ. It's a tall order, but it's what we're called to do. And we're not doing it alone. We have all these saints who are praying for us continuously. We have each other to encourage us. And we have this beautiful fullness of the holy tradition to guide and strengthen us. We have the holy mysteries to strengthen us. And as you'll hear in the prayer of chrismation, when we do the chrismation right after we recite the creed together, you can hear this is a spiritual struggle, and that we're expected to fight the good fight, but that we are armed with God's grace as we do it. So let's remember Longinus, let's tough it out, and glorify God in everything we do. Amen.